States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1 is approval of our minutes from our November 5th, 2025 commission meeting. Do you have any corrections or additions to that set of minutes?
I saw no changes or corrections.
All right.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve our minutes from October 15th.
5th?
November 5th.
Oh, I'm looking at this one. Sorry. November 5th. Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2 is open sealed bids for the 2025 health care for inmates in the Carbon County Jail. Do we have anything? Seth?
Yeah, sorry, we have 3. The first one is from Pine Top Medical. It says total cost is $9,200 a month as a baseline, and as broken out for medical staff, the physician coverage, a couple of things like insurance, but the base is $9,200 a month baseline. This one is from Vital Rise Wellness. This one may have to be gone through to get. Yeah, I don't have a baseline amount or per month amount, except there's some estimated rates for different types of services. So medical provider visit rate is $50 to $200. Registered nurse visit rate is $25 to $50. And medical and nursing on-call availability fees is $1.50 an hour. I think that's all I saw as far as pricing.
Okay, thank you.
This one's from Carbon Medical Service Association. This one has quite a few rates here as well for employee costs, training and travel, supplies, the lab, additional staffing, overhead and malpractice insurance. Estimated total monthly cost is $14,736.
Okay, we have 3 bids there, proposals. Any questions about them?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we acknowledge the 3 bids. We turn those over to the sheriff and Commissioner Haddock to review and advise and move forward with the best value for the county.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3 is consideration and possible approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the American 250 Utah Commission and Carbon County. Courtney Cox.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So I'm hoping that you guys will approve and sign this Memorandum of Understanding. The America 250 Utah Initiative is a statewide initiative getting ready to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. So by partnering with this initiative, we position ourselves for statewide recognition, and we also position ourselves to receive a stipend to go towards an event or whatever we choose to put forth for the 250th initiative. So what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at designating Carbon County as an America 250 Utah County, and I'm also looking at designating our Carbon County Fair as the event for the 250 initiative. So that's what this Memorandum of Understanding would recognize. Do you have any questions?
No question. Tell the public what this year, next year represents.
It's the 250th anniversary of the United States. So as a state, there's multiple communities, not just counties, but municipalities and other groups that are coming together to try to promote, history in our communities and to promote forward thinking in our communities in terms of growth together as a nation, not just here in Utah. So we just want to be a part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, just tell us a little bit also about what the Memorandum of Understanding is going to be.
So essentially what our responsibility in this would be is we're designating an event, which for us, it's already an existing event. Some other communities are creating events specifically for this. We're choosing to partner our fair with it. So we're going to use our fair as a means of recognizing this 250th anniversary. And then as far as that, we would post our event on, I can't remember the name of it. It is a statewide website for events. Can't remember if it's Events Now Utah or what it's called.
NowPlayingUtah.com.
There we go. Now Playing Utah. Yes. Yeah. So that will also help us get statewide recognition for our fair as well. That's our main, it's the main thing that we are obligated to, is making sure that we're posting on that and making sure we're incorporating the anniversary somehow in our event. So that's what I was looking for. I wanted something that we already had existing that, we could incorporate the 250th anniversary into and recognize that way. And just make the event a little bit more than it already is.
Well, and I'll add that the event you're talking about is an award-winning event, part of it anyway, the rodeo. So Congratulations on that.
Thank you. We were recognized as a top 2 finalist for the Small Rodeo of the Year for the PRCA Wilderness Circuit. That was very neat. We didn't know we were in the running for that until about a week before the award ceremony. And what was also neat about that is this was voted on specifically by contestants who attended the rodeos. So very, very neat designation for us, especially in year 1.
Yeah. So I appreciate you stepping up and taking care of this and ownership of it. So.
Any questions or?
No,
motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the America 250 Utah Commission and Carbon County Fair.
And I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Item 4 on our agenda is consideration and possible adoption of ordinance number 589 for the annual updates to the Carbon County Development Code. Todd?
Thank you, Commissioners. So every year we update our development code, and this year we just have a few minor changes to that. We reviewed all those changes and had a public hearing at our Planning Commission meeting earlier this month. So the only changes we have are in Section 4, which are our zoning regulations. Most of those are just changes, some more formatting issues. We had some references that weren't correctly labeled, so we changed all of those so they match the correct reference within the code as far as it comes to like advertising signs, campgrounds, and twin home projects. Those were just misnumbered, so we corrected those. And then we just had some wording missing in our zoning tables where we didn't label not permitted on some of the items, so we just added that heading. And then the biggest one we discussed was removing condominium projects as a permitted use in the Schofield Lakeshore zone. So in 2006, I believe it was, they added condos to be a permitted use in the Schofield Lakeshore zone. And after discussion with the Planning Commission, that's something the Planning Commission wanted to remove from the uses. You can still do single-family homes, you can do cabins. If they wanted to do condos, there are zones they can do them, and they just have to do a zone change. It's just not a permitted use. So it's still an option, just they'd have to go through the zone change process, make sure that's something that met the general plan and what the county commission wanted to see happen. So that's the biggest change. But other than that, none of the other sections had any amendments or changes to them.
Any questions for Todd?
Just, was this is an annual change you do? Was there any, was it unanimous? Was there any pushback or any other comments on any of these changes?
Nope, we didn't have any comments from the public or from the Planning Commission. So it was voted on unanimously at Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt Ordinance 589 for the annual updates to the Carbon County Development Code.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Item 5 is adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Carbon County Board of Equalization. Need a motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Carbon County Board of Equalization.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, item 6 is consideration and possible approval of the assessor initiated adjustments. We have both Kevin and Amy here tonight. Looks like Kevin's going to present.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we've been really busy down in the assessors department, trying to get the Board of Equalization, kind of our review wrapped up and finalized. So we're going to do a couple different things tonight. What I just handed you is all of the late appeals. And so I apologize for handing them to you late, but we've been running around trying to get everything else. There's a list of 152 parcels that have been stipulated or agreed to stipulate, and I will circulate that list for you. So we'd like to, first get that list approved, and then I'll talk about the late appeals and what we need to do with them, and I'll put those into 4 different groups. So.
Okay, so for the 152 parcels that there's been an agreed upon change, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 152 parcels that were stipulated with the assessor's office.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay,
Okay,
the next group.
now for the assessor, or not the assessor, sorry. Keep saying the assessor initiated appeals. These are the late appeals. So I wanted to first explain what the qualifications for a late appeal are. And there are 5 reasons you can have a late appeal. The first one is death of the property owner. Second is a medical emergency. Third is failure to notify. Fourth is a factual error. And the 5th is extraordinary or unanticipated circumstances. And let's talk about that one for just a minute, because it's the one that's the most vague. The brief description is the property owner was unable to file an appeal within the time period prescribed by subsection 59-2-1004, paragraph 3, paragraph A, because of an extraordinary or unanticipated circumstance. that occurred during the time prescribed. So it had to have occurred during the time period that they were to file the appeal. And no co-owner of the property was capable of filing an appeal. Okay, so those are the 5 reasons that they can appeal. And now we, as the board, you get to approve whether they meet those criteria or not. So the first ones that I'd like to do are those that are factual error. And I should have marked this. That would be hearings 834, 835, 842, 854, 860 and 864, 869, 870, 871, 872, 877, 878, 881, 882, 884, and 885. Those are the ones that we noted as a factual error. A note on factual error. The property owner has to say it's a factual error, and the assessor has to agree to it to be considered a factual error. So there's a 2-part process. So these are the hearings that, or the appeals that we have agreed that there was a factual error. When fixing factual errors in a late appeal, the only thing we're allowed to fix is what difference in value that error caused. So it doesn't open up the property for a complete appeal, but it's appeal based on what was found as a factual error. So it's a very limited scope as to what they get to appeal for. For example, a lot of these are, I should have had my residential exemption and it was missed. I should have been on Greenbelt, but it was missed. Okay, those are just some examples. Square footages were off when we see that. So it has to be something that you can't just, it's not a judgment call, it's a matter of measurement or fact. So those are the hearings that we noted as factual errors.
So we have 16 of those. Here's
Yes, that's what I count as well.
okay, so you've numbered those, the appeal numbers. Is there any questions about those 16?
Hold on, I missed 3, so there should be 19. Hearing 848, 849, and 850. I don't know why I didn't see the back of that sheet.
48, 49, and 50.
That's on page 2.
So 19. Any questions on those 19 with factual errors?
No.
Entertain a motion on those.
I'll make a motion that we approve the factual error notices that we've received, 19 of them.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
The next group is they filed because they did not receive notice. How the state treats these typically in a state appeal is they go to the clerk auditor's office and ask if the notice has been returned. If the notice has not been returned, it was delivered to someone. and they deny these. So those that fall into that category are hearing 830, 831, 832, 837, 839, 841, 843, 844, 845, 847, 851, 852, 853, 855, 856,
There's multiple 8.
yeah, there's multiple 856s because it's multiple parcels in that same hearing. And then 858. Sorry, 862. Next year, I'm going to organize these according to what they were filed for. I apologize. 868, 873,
Is it? This one was was one of those 863 one?
No,
That wasn't one?
no.
863 was one, yes.
Okay.
Missed that one.
And then these are all marked with red notes in the comments section. Then I think I did 868, 873, and then 879 and 880.
Two parcels or hearings. There's multiple, more than that for parcels.
Yes, 22 hearings. Do you want me to count parcels?
No, I think that'll be
Okay.
okay. So these were late, and
And the
Or
reason they
they-
said they were late is they never received their notice.
okay.
And so we asked the clerk auditor's office, and the notices for these parcels were not returned.
Any discussion about whether to approve these or not? State says no.
So I just wanted to give you history as to how the state looks at that.
Sure.
If you want to look at it differently, that's your prerogative. But I just know that when we go to the state, that's the criteria that they use for that.
So typically what would happen is if a notice was sent to the wrong address, the wrong occupant, that would be returned to the county.
It's returned.
That's the expectation.
Correct.
And if the state doesn't see that, then they,
Yeah, because anybody could come in and say, I didn't get my notice. How do you prove they didn't get it? The only way to prove it one way or the other is to say, well, was the notice returned? If not, it was delivered to someone. Who? And it's always interesting that these people receive their tax notice. They just didn't receive their valuation notice. And they're both sent to the same address.
Yeah. And, I think one of the things we're trying to do is to get all of these things straightened around. And as people are held accountable on their end, I think they'll be more willing to be careful next year when things come out. So I'm good with this denying these.
if there's no other comment, I'll make a motion that we deny these 22 that claim they did not receive their notice.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. This next group is, I'm going to lump the extenuating circumstances and medical emergencies and all of those kind of as one, because they require us to review each circumstance. So I gave you a brief summary.
Kevin, just real quick, do they need, what kind of verification do they have to provide if they say they do have a medical? I mean, I noticed some of these, you know, they had somebody with dementia, another one with these medical emergencies, and I want to be sympathetic to those things. I'm just wondering, is there a way to verify some of this stuff?
There is, and it depends on the judge as to what they require. So that's why it's not really clear. Some require medical records, some require documents, others just allow it. So it's a pretty big loophole to drive a truck through. But you know, we can go back and ask for documentation if you would like, and we can get that. Basically, we will be looking for hospital stay. When were you there? And things like that. So yes, we can ask for that. It to this point, it has not been asked for. So, but with that direction, we can go back and ask. Absolutely. So the first one I'll bring to your attention is hearing 832 or 833. And this one, there's a very long 3-page explanation. I'm just going to boil it down to, they mailed their application. It didn't arrive on time, but it was mailed prior to the deadline. That was verified. So not filed on time, but mailed on time. So,
And you received it, though?
yes,
It just came in after
it just came in after the deadline. The next one is hearing 840. This is one where they thought they had appealed. They went through all the process, got all of the information, and I actually have the letter from the realtor that's dated, so it proves it. But they forgot to file it. They just got busy and forgot to turn it in. The next one is hearing 846.
That's the medical emergency?
Yes, and I wanted to read a couple things from that one. Give me just a sec. This one deals with a close relative who fell in the middle of August. She was rushed to the hospital 3 times to get stabilized, had an MRI. She broke her neck, and she's now a quadriplegic. Then they found cancer in her husband. And then her sister passed away. So that's the medical emergency.
Okay.
Hearing 859. This one is the homeowners wife was going through a liver transplant, and they spent most of their time up at the transplant center and not here at home taking care of their business here. 861. This is another one that thought she had filed but did not. Went through all of the paperwork. $865. This one, all it says is I had a car accident. $874, all it said is they have dementia. $875. This one's rather convoluted. They sold the property to their daughter, who works out of the area, and then she found a buyer for it, and then they had to clean it up so that they could sell it, and in that process, they forgot to turn in their property tax appeal.
But it has since been sold.
I haven't verified that.
Because if it was sold, then they would have paid these taxes during their,
I can look that one up. I did not verify that. But you're right, that would
because it would already be paid.
that would be.
They'd settle that out.
But let me look at that one. Um, 876, wife passed away. So those are the extraordinary circumstances or medical emergencies.
Okay, so you have a variety of them there.
And if you need any more information on any of those, I've got all the documentation here. I'll be happy to read anything you want.
Yeah, some of these sound worthwhile. Excuse me. Others, maybe not so much. So I don't know that we should group these. Maybe individually.
Okay.
My thoughts.
I agree.
I have a couple that I'm, obviously concerned with. We just talked about the one that had sold the property. Again, the taxes may have already been paid.
And we can definitely push that one forward and get you more information on that one.
And the other ones that where people just thought or forgot, the reason we had to deny the others is because it sets a precedence for everybody else. That if they just turn them in late, and we have no border, no boundary. But I'm also very sympathetic to these extraordinary circumstances that have happened to some of our residents, and would rather err on the side of caution when they are going through hard things. I know it's too late to collect that information now, but I think in the future, I think it's a good idea to just say, look, if you have them, great, just provide, medical stay to just verify that, because otherwise we have no way to verify that either.
Correct.
But I personally would like to err on the side of caution on those and give them the benefit of the doubt, because they're probably going through a hard time. And
Maybe the best thing is go through these one at a time.
Okay,
and-
let's do that.
and just vote on them. You've given us some explanation, so we go back
And
to.
if any other explanation is needed, just say, I'd like more information, and I'll give you everything I've got. So,
Let's go back to 833.
833, mailed appeal prior to deadline, but arrived after the deadline.
I'll make a motion to approve that one.
I agree. Second.
All in favor?
I-
Okay, passed.
I'll
Thank
give the
you.
appeal number, sorry. Approve appeal number 833.
840.
Okay, 840. So during this time, he was engaged in a significant siding project of another home. And it took a lot more time than anticipated, but he just failed to do this. It was appealed last year, but as we know, each year stands on its own. So he just thought this year was taken care of and he didn't have to worry about it. So he didn't appeal until he got his tax notice.
So did we make a correction last year on this property?
Uh,
On the 837 or 37?
This is 840.
Are we on 840?
Yeah, 840.
Oh, sorry.
Give me just
You're
a
right.
moment.
Yeah, that one's got a long explanation.
Yeah.
here. This one doesn't seem as valid.
I would agree. Unless we want to wait for Kevin. Go ahead and make them.
I'm not finding the appeal from last year. Unless it was in, oh, we filed late last year.
That's a good answer. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to deny appeal 840.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Number 846.
Can I just go ahead and make a motion?
Yeah, that one's a pretty valid medical.
I'll make a motion that we approve 846.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one is 859.
Make a motion to approve appeal 859.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 861.
Make a motion to deny appeal number 861.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 865.
Make a motion we approve
I'll second.
865.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 874.
Make a motion that we approve 874.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 875, that one we could deny anyway. even if the
I can
taxes
also
are
get
paid.
more information for you.
That one doesn't sound reasonable anyway.
Okay.
So,
I agree. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we deny appeal number 875.
I'll second it.
all in favor? Aye. 876,
Make a motion that we approve 876.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's all that I have marked. Is that all of them?
Okay. And then, I think the only ones we have left are the ones that just filed late. They didn't give a real reason. It didn't fit in any category. And let's see. Making sure I didn't miss any. Hearing 866. 867. I think those are the only two we have not covered. We also, we didn't do 883. And I didn't have notes on that one. Give me just a second. Oh, that is a factual error, I believe. If I'm remembering right, isn't that the one that we received last night in an email? Hold on, let me verify. Oh, this one, they state factual error, but don't state what the factual error is. So
And you weren't able to.
This is 883.
this is 883. I can put that one, we can push that one forward, and I can do some more research on that and find out if there is a factual error, because I have no notes on it, so.
Okay. So it looks like we have two turned in late, and you can work on that other one.
Yeah.
So the 866 and 867.
Make a motion on appeals number 866 and 867 to deny.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion that we table 883 for additional information. Find out if there is a factual error.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. For those that we approved for factual errors, I've had the staff work up the factual errors and the new values. Would you like to approve those here, or would you like to review those first?
I'm okay approving them.
Yeah, because the
Already.
factual errors are not huge dollar items, correct?
Typically not, no.
You have any thoughts?
No, I think if we've already agreed to approve them,
Yeah, we need to
we
get
basically
these,
agree to the factual error.
Let's entertain a motion to.
I'll make a motion that we approve the factual error amounts.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And I'll bring the rest before you next month or in 2 weeks.
I think a comment from myself about this. We want each property owner to pay their fair share. And there are legal obligations that they have. And we've been very, very, very lenient the last 2 years, and we can't continue to do that. So a warning to the taxpayers, they need to get their tax notices. If they don't get them, they need to come and ask for them. And they need to follow the instructions in there. And we have staff here to help them and answer questions and work through all of the problems. But these late things, all that does is cause a shortage to each of the taxing entities. And that is not fair to the school district or the other taxing entities to be shorted that amount of money.
No, I agree. And all we're trying to do is make everything equitable. You know, as I said before, I don't care whether the values go up or down, as long as they're all equitably assessed. That's what we're shooting for. I'd like to say all of our properties are increasing in value. That doesn't mean our tax base is increasing. It just means it's better for all of us. But whether it goes up or down, that's not the point. We need to make sure it's equitable.
That's right.
And we're working really hard to get that done. I was pleased to see, in doing all of these reviews, the improvement we've made year over year. Are we there yet? No. After this next year, we'll be a lot closer than we are this year. But we're going to continue to strive and make those changes necessary to get us to where we need to be.
Well, and I just want to make a personal comment as well, that I personally had 3 properties that I did not turn in on time. And it was an oversight on my part. And a couple of them might actually appealed the year before, was granted the appeal, and it was my fault. So,
Yeah.
we're not punishing everybody else, but even ourselves by setting the standard.
And
I just think that's
we
helpful.
there are property characteristics available for everybody to review on the web. So they can go out and they can click on it and it'll show you the size of your house. Commercial's not working real well, but for the residential folks, you can go out and actually review that and it'll pull up. Vacant land, not so much. We haven't developed that yet. But you can go through and you can look at it and go, I don't have a 7,000 square foot house. Call me. Sooner rather than later, let's fix it. Out of most of the factual errors we've gotten this year, it's been square footage issues. And when we remeasure, we're able to take care of those really easy. Let's do it before the tax roll, not after. So.
Well, thank you, Amy and Kevin and your staff in the assessor's office for the work you've been doing. It's been very intense, and you guys are doing very well, and we appreciate what you do. The citizens, maybe they don't fully realize what the value that you guys are, but it's critical. And the thing that's unfair to taxpayers is that when we have issues on our end that need to be fixed, we should fix them. But when we don't, and in the past, we've caved into some pressures, I think, and that is not appropriate, because then those who come in and ask for the reductions get them, and grandma down the street who can barely pay her taxes, she ends up having to pay more than her share. And that's what we're trying to fix.
Every property that has been appealed this year has had comparable properties pulled on it and looked at to verify that our models are where they're at, or to verify, we need to work on that in that area.
Okay.
Everything has been done. When it goes to a hearing, there's been an appraisal written on every single property. So it's not just done by, oh, this is what we think it is. It's really, we're looking at the market data and saying, do you have anything else? We've got a few that, they don't want to produce any evidence. And that's been really frustrating, because we're just trying to get it right. And if you just stand there and tell me I'm wrong, okay, I can take that. But why am I wrong? if I don't know why I'm wrong, I can't fix it. I can look at it and say, I think I'm right. I can go out and measure it. I can go look at it. But a lot of times we're wrong because they just don't know that the value of their property is increased. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I had one property turned in that they purchased in 2019 for $38,000. Well, if you do the time adjustments to current market, we were within $1,000 of what it would sell for today based on those time. So to me, that's a win. That's really close. I've had things brought in from 2016 that show, and they submitted them as evidence as their purchase price. And when I saw the date that they purchased it, I'm like, well, what is it today? I know what it was in 2016. Well, it hasn't sold, so the market value hasn't increased. That's not how it works. Your value will always change every year. And if you expect as a taxpayer that you're going to get the same value year after year after year after year, those days are gone. We don't do that anymore. It was inappropriate then, and it's inappropriate now. So state statute says we must value every property every year. So every year you will get a new notice of valuation for your property. We will do our best to make sure it's accurate and reasonable.
I think what confuses people is the 5-year cycle. They think that my house only gets looked at once every 5 years. So explain why that is not the case.
Yeah, and we've done ourselves a disservice because we call it the 5-year reappraisal. Okay, we're working really hard to change that naming convention because what it is a 5-year property characteristics review. And what the statute says is I must, as a minimum, review the characteristics of every property once every 5 years.
And what are characteristics?
So quality of construction, age, size, improvements, any changes to the property. So I'm supposed to be going through that and making sure that we've got all noticeable things. Particularly, it's a lot about size, condition, quality. We pick up basement finishes that didn't go through the Planning and Zoning Commission, because they've sold their house. So we'll pick those up. Those all go through. And those are the characteristics we're looking for. It's the same characteristics we value on. If I can get the quality of your house correct, the size of your house correct, and the condition of your house characterized in effective age correct, if I can get those 3 characteristics, okay, there are hundreds of characteristics on a home, but if I can get those 3 accurate and reasonable, we're good. We're really good. The trouble is we're inconsistent. And so as we get better at doing that, we'll get better at collecting the data. That's a training issue on our part.
So every 5 years that happens with each home, but every year the value has to be adjusted based on the sales of homes in those neighborhoods.
Right. And in years past, what we were doing is we were doing what's called factoring, and we were adjusting our values based on a factor. Okay. That's great if you want everything to stay consistent. And you'd say, well, yeah, that's what we're looking for. But what happened is we had properties misvalued. So we had building lots here in Price City valued at $1,000. It's an actual building lot. It's stuck in between 2 homes. And yes, you can build on it. It was, but it's listed at $1,000. Its proper value is somewhere between $20,000 and $24,000. I don't remember that one specific, but it received an increase of a large percent because it went from $1,000 to $20,000. And they're like, you're killing me. Well, it was inequitable before because we had you so far undervalued that it didn't make sense to anybody else. So we have to make sure that equity is in place. And factoring doesn't pick up on that. When you put the characteristics in and you start valuing based on those characteristics, then you start finding the errors you have both in your data and in your valuations.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for
I don't.
Keven?
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate
Thanks,
the
Kevin.
explanation.
Thank you.
Andy,
We need to adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Equalization and convene as Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn as Carbon County Board of Equalization and convene as Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8 is consideration and possible approval of transferring ownership of parcels 1B-0147-0003, parcel 1B-0147-0006, parcel 1B-0147-0007, and one that's left off this agenda is parcel 1B-0147-0005 to Wellington City.
Which one was that off? So you had
You had 05, 03,
05, 03, 06, 07. Is there one other one we're missing?
No, 4. There's 4 of them. You've got the right copy.
Okay.
There may on our agenda that was published, the one was left off. So some background with this before we vote. These are 4 building lots in Wellington City. There's some complications with those. Property, the road in front of them is owned by a private landowner, and we've worked to try to get that straightened around. Property was never turned over to Wellington City. At the same time, we've tried to work with those lots. There is a piece of property that Wellington City owns that we need to go through in order to get our road built into our new industrial park out along Ridge Road. And so there's a parcel 1B-029-0000 that Wellington City would like to trade us for those 4 lots in Wellington. And it appears like that's going to be a good thing, and then we won't need an easement from Wellington City to build the road through there. So that's the background. And so we have 4 quitclaim deeds.
Commissioners,
Yes.
I looked at these deeds. I just have a slight change to the body of the text. I think the deed should say hereby quit claims rather than conveys, because sometimes that's implied that we're giving a warranty deed. So the word quit claim, I know it says that on the head of the deed, but I think it probably should say it in the body of the text as well. So it should say hereby quit claims and conveys, or better yet, hereby quit claims to Wellington City.
So with those changes, we'll have you or Lynn work through that.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve transferring ownership of parcels -1B-0147-0003, 05, 06, and 07, with the amended corrections given by Christian about calling it hereby quitclaim rather than convey
To Wellington.
to Wellington City. Sorry.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9 is presentation of fraud risk assessment. Seth?
Yeah, commissioners, each year we're required by the state auditor's office to fill out a fraud risk assessment and then to present it in a commission meeting. The fraud risk assessment has 2 parts to it. It has a questionnaire about separation of duties. And then it has 9 questions that are related to things like if we have policies regarding conflict of interest, procurement, ethical behavior, reporting and fraud, travel, credit card usage, personal use of entity assets, IT and computer security, cash receiving deposits. Also asks about qualifications or education of board members and the county auditor. Also asks about if we have a fraud hotline, if we have a formal internal audit function, and if we have a formal audit committee. So those are the questions, and then it assigns a point value to each of these questions if we answer yes or no to them. And then it gives us a risk level based on our total point amount that we get by the yes and no to the questionnaire. The max is 395 points. We score at 365. Anything that is above 355 puts us at a very low fraud risk. The way they score it is if you are less than 200, you're very high. If you're between 200 and 275, you're high. 276 and 315 is moderate. 316 to 355 is low. And as I mentioned, over 355 is very low, and we're at 365. So went through and filled out the questionnaire. We just need you to review and hopefully approve it and sign it, and then we will submit it to the state auditor's office. So if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions. Good job, your staff and everybody else that's involved in this to ensure that we don't have ourselves exposed to some risks from particularly financial problems. Questions?
Just to mention, there's obviously always a concern, a large concern and possibility, not necessarily a large possibility of fraud, but that's one reason the state has us fill this out each year, is because these are all the things that we can do to reduce our risk and mitigate those issues. And so this is a great thing that we're able to do each year. We're continually trying to improve on this. We'll probably continue to update some of our policies, which we've looked at. And recently, within the last couple of years, we added a fraud risk hotline and just made sure that we were clearly named our internal audit committee. So those are some things that we've done recently, and we'll continue to work on that.
I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Do we need a motion on that? Yeah. Make a motion that we approve the fraud risk assessment.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Make a motion we adjourn.
Aaron, thank you.